Hi, I'm Stuart Elliott, the editor-in-chief of The Real Deal, here with another installment of TRD Tips. Today I have Lauren Muss, one of the top real estate brokers in New York City. She's done more than $6 billion in sales during her career, and she took the number 4 spot in The Real Deal's most recent ranking of city agents. Lauren, we checked in with you pre-COVID about the luxury market, but selling during coronavirus, somewhat of a different environment. So we wanted to get some tips on how you're selling apartments today and just what's happening in the market and, what things look like, until life returns to normal. So thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
So tell me how the business of being a broker is today. What's the same and what's different from pre-COVID?
I think we had a little rough road, from March to, I would say, September 15th. And September 15th, things started to really open up. And I see a huge change, I would say, from November 15th to now. I think if you follow, any of the reports, transactions are really up. They could be even more than, last year and the past 7 years. I think New Year's, week was the best year in years. The only difference now is volume numbers. Mm-hmm. Numbers are down. So, if sellers listen, they're going to sell. Otherwise, they can be like everyone else and just sit there and think that things are going to change in the next 6 months or 9 months.
Mm-hmm. What sort of, adjustability or price flexibility are you seeing in the market?
I think that people forget, and I really stand behind this, that we were down pre-COVID. So people forget. So I always say, if you ever listen to my price pre-COVID, it's the same price now. I don't see these like 10, 20, 30, percent dips. We were already there. We were already 10, 20, 30% down. Mm-hmm. So if people listen to the price pre-COVID and then they priced it accordingly now, they're going to sell. I don't see too many people making money. Some people breaking even, but it's a lifestyle choice. I think they decide that how much money they're willing to lose, and if they're priced properly, they're going to sell. Transactions are really up. Mm-hmm. In every price range. We had a really strong, December, and in every price range, co-op, condo, didn't matter.
Mm-hmm. What are you seeing is most in demand in terms of like apartment size or neighborhood? What are the hot areas and what's kind of lagging?
It's always the same. You have people that are scaling up that realize that they have to be here. They're kids who are 5, 7, 9. They don't want to go to the Hamptons or Greenwich or Miami for 2 months. I always make this joke that in the summers, the wives would be, in the Hamptons all summer long, and the husbands would be in the city Tuesday, Thursday, going out and then coming back. And now I'm seeing the husbands going to Hamptons. They have like their little bike club or, tennis or whatever it is. And the wives are stuck in the city because the kids won't go. The kids want to be by their friends. So, no vaccine, COVID, people are here. People realize we're going to be fine. So I do find a lot of people are scaling up and buying bigger apartments. I find that people are making lifestyle choices and realizing that maybe they want the place in Miami or Aspen or the Hamptons and scaling down. But I think it's a great excuse for people who really wanted to take some time off to be able to work virtually. And They don't want to admit it, but they're not rushing back to the office. They don't have to.
Right. Are you dealing with a lot more referrals these days to other markets, your Aspens or your Miamis and that sort of thing?
Definitely. Everyone wants the month of March in Aspen. There's no doubt about that. And everyone wants January and February in Miami, but they're all coming back. Eventually we're going to have to be back in the office. Of course, real estate brokers are still showing nonstop, but a lot of people can work virtually. Our business is not virtual. Mm-hmm. And, it's a great excuse to take off some time. Mm-hmm. And if they can afford that second home or third home, they're doing it.
Do you see this like trend of, somebody termed it, I think it was Jonathan Miller, Coprimary living, where you're living in more than one home? Do you see that continuing, and does that make it trickier to be a broker or do deals, or easier?
It's interesting. I think that people are reassessing their lives. If you have children, that are in school, you're here. There's nothing you can do about it. You can, escape right now to the Hamptons or Miami or wherever for a little bit, but you're going to be back here because life's going to be back. Mm-hmm. But for people whose kids are out of college and it's time to reassess, I'm finding that they are really buying that second or third pied-à-terre home, whatever it is, and splitting their time up. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think people are realizing that if they don't have to be in the office, they can work from anywhere. Mm-hmm,
mm-hmm. And how about the people that are switching up places in the city? Obviously, it seems like home offices would be a desirable thing these days. Like, what are you seeing as far as demand shifting, as far as like apartment features and layouts and that sort of thing?
Well, we can all go on and on about, the office space and, outdoor space. But I think that when people had a certain budget, they're getting more now than they were 2, 3 years ago.
Hmm.
So if someone can afford it, they're splurging. You know, they're here. They're not going anywhere. The people that were on the tip, left, but there's plenty of people staying here and they're just getting a little bit more for their money. But look, everyone wants a view, everyone wants outdoor space, everyone wants the extra room. Who doesn't?
Right. Outdoor space predated COVID, I think. Um, so as far as just the day-to-day business of being a broker, what sort of safety considerations or logistical considerations? Is it just a bottle of Purell and a face mask these days, or is it more extensive than that?
Well, there's all the COVID forms. I mean, people ask more questions. People want to know who's coming. It depends. I mean, the one good thing is a lot of people are away, so I have a lot of empty homes, so that's good. So
Mhm.
there's less fear. But when people were here, they were very cautious about who was coming. Had they had COVID? Do you have booties? Do you have gloves? Do you have Purell? They have to wear a mask. Don't touch anything. I want you to open the doors. And we were very respectful. Look,
Mhm.
we don't want to get sick either.
Mhm.
Our lives, I want the vaccine. I feel like, I'm being forced to be with people all day long. So,
Mhm.
I think that we're just as cautious for our own lives. So it's easier when people are away because we have an empty apartment. But like, for instance, like I ride around in a scooter now. Like I have an electronic scooter. All the parking Fifth Avenue buildings know me. I'm like, where can I park my new Rolls Royce? And they laugh at me. And I feel safe because I'm not touching anything.
Well,
And there's days where, I'm in a car and whatever, but between the scooter, between, the mask and everything, I mean, and the COVID forms and people asking, it's definitely a different level,
mhm.
but we're showing more than ever. So,
Right. I guess the bane of a broker's existence is cab fare and Uber fare, but you found a way around that. Um,
you go so many more places and it's 26 pounds.
Easy parking too, right? Last question for you, just, in terms of things going virtual, showing apartments, taking a second look at a place, going to contract closing, how much is happening virtual now these days versus pre-COVID?
I mean, we're definitely FaceTiming with some people. Like we definitely have done some deals through FaceTime and, then they've gotten there and thankfully they've been really happy.
Hmm.
But,
Hmm.
our business really is not virtual.
Hmm.
It's, you got to touch it. And, everyone on my team, in my office, we're showing. We're,
Hmm.
nonstop.
Yeah.
So, maybe, we used to be like, did you look at the pictures? Did you look at the tour? Did you look at the fancy floor plan that moves? And now they're coming.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, that's great. Well, obviously everybody's looking forward to getting things back to normal, but it sounds like, business is happening, obviously. So thank you, Lauren. Thanks for walking us through that.
You're very welcome. Nice talking.